underground boring machines. Designed for cable, landscape, electrical, utility installers, and any other contractor needing to install pipe, cable, or PVC under paved surfaces up to 100 feet in length and as much as 9 inches in diameter. The key unique feature is the machine's ability to lower the boring drive unit down into the trench, the depth of the bore. This makes it possible to use the machine in the least amount of working space, which is especially important when working in tight easements, apartment complexes, business parks, and many other commercial and residential circumstances. The trench mole is also the ideal machine for core boring through curbs and foundations. It is important when core boring curbs to have the drive unit as low to the ground as possible to prevent the curb from breaking when coming through. There are 3 main ways the trench mole can be used. In a short space situation, you can ratchet one drill stem at a time down in the trench. The next situation is when there's adequate room to assemble all the drill stems needed and the trench is long enough to accommodate everything below ground. The last situation is when there's adequate room to assemble all the drill stems needed, but the trench is too short, at which point you can use the machine above ground to start, then drop down at the start of the trench to complete the bore. Using the trench mole is simple. Let's begin. Screw on a desired length of drill stem. Screw on the desired size bit. Lower the trench mole to the desired depth of bore. To lower the trench mole into the ground, push forward on the white handle to relieve tension on the release pin. Then pull the black release lever and lower the machine into the trench. You want the machine to ride just above the bottom of the trench, not drag through it. Middle when the situation permits. Release the winch lock. Pull out the winch line and attach it to the stake. Turn the engine stop to the on position. Turn the choke on and then to off after about 40 seconds after the engine starts. Turn the fuel valve on. It's important to turn the fuel valve off at the end of each day's use. Turn the throttle up. Attach a garden hose. City water pressure is fine. Open the water valve and wait till you have a steady, constant flow of water. Start the power unit running. Unlike the direct drive of the 5 horsepower trench mole, the Trench Mole HD's drive unit is hydrostatic. This gives you the constant torque at any speed as well as in neutral. Pull back on the speed control to engage the drive unit. Then advance the trench mole bit and stem into the bore with the hand winch. This first bore length is the width of a typical sidewalk, and when the bit arrives, the bore is done, unless the hole needs to be enlarged by back reaming, which will be demonstrated later in the video. Remember, when space permits, you can assemble all the drill stem sections needed and complete the bore in one pass. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate using the trench mole in a short space setup, where adding and subtracting drill stems is necessary. The bit has arrived. Now to continue boring a longer distance, we must add another drill stem. With the power unit turned off, drill stems can be added to the power unit by pulling the rope start. Now that we've added another drill stem, we will bore to the next destination, which would be about the width of a single car driveway. To bore greater distances, even up to 100 feet, simply add more drill stems and repeat the process. Now that the bit has arrived, we will install rolled poly using the heavy-duty swivel attachment. Attach the poly to the swivel with some strong wire. Then attach the swivel to the drill stem. If the rolled copper or poly is larger in diameter than the bore diameter, then simply screw on the desired size back reamer in front of the swivel and back ream the hole to size while making the installation. The most common installation, as seen here, for straight pipe, is to back ream the hole to size first. Then remove the machine from the trench and push the PVC in by hand or with a backhoe. To back ream, drive a T-stake the desired distance behind the machine, then pull the cable from under the machine and attach it to the T-stake. To reverse the winch line on the Trench Mole HD, simply loop the winch cable under the bottom guide pulley and extend the cable to the stake. Start the machine, turn the water on, and use the hand winch to back ream the hole. At this point, we have demonstrated the simple operation of the trench mole on short bores. There's another element to boring with the trench mole: aiming devices, the joystick and the surface boring guide. The joystick is a quick and easy to set up aiming device used on medium length bores approximately 35 feet in length. The purpose of the joystick is to stabilize the drill stem, set the height of the drill stem, and give the operator some leverage to slightly change the direction of the drill stem. The surface bore guide is our most accurate aiming device designed for marksmanship accuracy on long bores up to 100 feet in length. Assemble the bore guide frame as shown here. The boards are only necessary when the trench is too wide for the bore guide frame, but are shown in the video to demonstrate how they are assembled. With the bore guide frame assembled as shown, slide the first drill stem through the down tube eyelets. Screw on the desired size pilot bit. Drop the bore guide frame into the trench. Make sure the down tube pinch bolts are tight and the down tubes are only extended a few inches. Now lower the bore guide down tubes, bit and stem down to the desired depth and tighten the pinch bolts. Next, drive a target stake into the trench on the destination side. From the point you want the bit to exit, measure up 5 feet and make a target mark. Black electrical tape works well. Precision alignment of the drill stem is accomplished with the rifle scope stand. Place the base of the rifle scope stand on the drill stem in the center of the bore guide frame. Install the rifle scope to the stand, making sure the yellow dot on the scope lines up with the yellow dot on the stand. The object is to center the target mark on the target stake in the crosshairs of the rifle scope. This is done by raising or lowering the front or rear down tube on the bore guide frame. When the target mark is in the crosshairs of the rifle scope, tighten the pinch bolts and you are ready to bore. The 5.5 horsepower trench mole is a machine with a direct drive motor and a chain-driven drill designed to work in a tight space, and is still lightweight and easy to toss in the back of a truck or trailer. It is for contractors like cable and landscapers needing to bore smaller holes in easy to semi-hard soil conditions. The 9 horsepower Trench Mole HD is a hydrostatically driven machine also designed to work in a tight space. It has a neutral and variable speeds. The hydrostatic drive provides maximum torque at low speeds, which is good for larger holes. The Trench Mole HD is for contractors needing to bore holes in easy to harder rock conditions, and is also our preferred machine for dry boring in light soil conditions. Here we have a 40-foot bore under the entrance to an apartment complex. Trench mole will always require one less boring stem to operate, and with the drill stem and drive unit level at the bottom of the trench, it is much easier to bore a straight hole because you do not have to have a second man pulling the drill stem back to level. This bore was for running an electrical conduit to the sign of a newly built business complex. A contractor had forgotten to place the PVC sleeve before the parking lot was paved. Imagine that. Because of the trench mole's ability to drop down to the depth of the bore, you no longer need 10 to 15 extra feet of drill stem and trench for the drill stem to flex up and out of the trench and attach to an above-ground output shaft. Also, being able to push the machine all the way to the start of the bore makes it possible to pull the machine back far enough to add another drill stem and keep going. Trench mole is easy to use and works in the least amount of setup space. But remember, even when you have plenty of room, the trench mole is more than capable of bores up to 100 feet. Expand your company's capabilities with the ability to bore underground. Don't miss out on jobs that require boring because you don't have a machine on hand. Many times the machine will pay for itself on the first job. When you're in a tight spot or backed up against a wall, the trench mole